The gates of the Ford Center in Frisco finally closed after the conclusion of the first structured OTAs of the season, but what leaked from inside the Dallas Cowboys training complexes in the last 24 hours completely changed everything we imagined about the main roster for the rest of the year. Seriously, guys. If you thought the starting rotation was completely set and that the young newcomers were just going to watch the show from the bench, you're sorely mistaken. Honestly, I didn't expect this. There's a silent movement in the deepest recesses of the coaching staff that could put a totally unexpected player in the fire as the undisputed starter on offense, while a true sacred monster from our first round of the draft is being tested in a role that almost no one in the specialized media had the audacity or tactical knowledge to predict. Pay close attention now, because the Dallas Cowboys' secret plan has begun to take shape in an overwhelming way on the camp field. The gears are turning at an absurd speed, medical reports have shifted priorities, and the coaching staff led by Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer has begun to sketch out a team design that defies all traditional offseason projections. If you thought the hierarchy of targets was defined by the contracts of the big stars or the long-standing status of established veterans, the stark truth is that internal footage reveals a complete destruction of established patterns. An offensive rookie is simply breaking through the lines of the first defensive unit with such ease that it caused a genuine silence of shock among the coordinators, while the team's main defensive reinforcement was seen operating in 3 distinct sectors of the field in the same 11-on-11 training session. A sense of urgency has taken over the facilities, and the mystery over who will actually step onto the field in Week 1 as an undisputed starter has taken a completely explosive and unpredictable turn. Hey, guys! Welcome to our official and mandatory meeting point for the most fanatical and passionate NFL fans of this team. This is Rena, and today our bar chat is going to be just the way we like it: hot, controversial, full of in-depth data, and straight from the hottest sources behind the scenes in Texas. But before I reveal every detail of this insane plan from the coaching staff and give you the names of those who are destroying everything on the training fields, do the following to strengthen our community. Leave your cheeky like on the video and comment below right now. Which player do you think will be the biggest positive surprise for our team this 2026 season? I want to see the fans' reaction and your opinions popping up here in the comments section, okay? Things are heating up in Texas, the analysts are glued to what's happening in these official team activities, and I guarantee that tomorrow morning we'll release an even more absurd video with the definitive list of the big winners and losers of these practices. That's why your interaction, commenting and liking, is what keeps this channel going, seeking the truths that the mainstream media tries to hide at all costs. We are driven by passion and the relentless pursuit of precise information, talking eye to eye like true partners in the stands. So settle into your chair, grab your favorite drink, because what I have to tell you today will completely change how you see the tactical future of our team. We're going to analyze what's happening away from the main spotlight, breaking down corporate narratives and understanding the real impact of each choice our management has made in recent months to put the Dallas Cowboys back on top of the National Conference. The current scenario within the Dallas Cowboys facilities is one of a profoundly aggressive tactical rebuild under the command of our new and highly touted defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. The atmosphere captured in the open practices for accredited journalists was pure electricity in the air, with players running with their helmets clinking and an intensity worthy of mid-November. While much of the traditional media and superficial scouts spent hours focused only on the obvious running back battles and the offensive lines reshuffling after recent losses, the real magic and high-level tactical mystery were happening deep in the secondary and in the innovative positioning of the most hybrid pieces on the 2026 roster. It became clear as day that the coaching staff's new mentality wants to bury once and for all that predictable, rigid, and static defensive scheme that has cost us crucial games in the recent past. They want pure speed, vertical aggression, and above all, positional flexibility capable of confusing the smartest quarterbacks in the league. The new faces that stepped onto the Ford Center field weren't just there to execute the basics or fill out the scoreboard in the initial drills. These young talents took center stage in the tactical setup from the moment they stepped into the main huddle, dictating the pace of the plays and shaping what promises to be the most chameleon-like and unpredictable defensive structure in the entire NFL for years to come. You could feel the tension and absolute focus with every snap of the ball, with coaches yelling corrections in real time and demanding maximum attention from each player in mirrored coverages. Now, you probably didn't notice this monstrous detail that happened behind the scenes, but Caleb Downs, our first-round draft gem from 2026, the absolute phenomenon who came from Ohio State to revolutionize the secondary, wasn't stuck for a second just in the traditional safety position deep downfield. Pay attention to this. He had an absolutely absurd variety of tactical work throughout all the official OTA practices. The kid lined up in the main defense as a nickel corner, flawlessly covered the slot against our fastest receivers. And, to the general astonishment of those watching practice from the sidelines, was exhaustively tested on special teams returning punts and playing on the front line as the kicker's personal protector. Does this matter? Of course it matters, bro. If Cavani Turpin suffers a muscle injury in the middle of an electrifying game against a division rival, who do you think has the natural talent to step up without letting the level drop? The Downs were already doing this kind of damage in college football for Alabama and Ohio State, and the coaching staff wants this ace up their sleeve at all costs to devise tactical emergency scenarios. But oh, the real reality check came from the other side of the ball in Brian Schottenheimer's offense. They're trying to plant a false narrative out there that there's an open and desperate battle for the wide receiver 3 spot on the starting team. A blatant lie. Nonsense from those who don't follow the team's day-to-day activities. In my humble opinion. As a fanatic fan, this competition never actually existed, and if it did, by some miracle, our young Ryan Flournoy simply wiped the floor with all the competition by a huge technical advantage. While Jonathan Mingo remains completely battered in the medical department without showing any improvement, and veteran Marquez Valdez-Scantling has to work himself to death on special teams to earn a hard-fought spot on the final 53-man roster, Flournoy simply took over the offense in the 11-on-11 formation with brutal authority, showing that his chemistry with the starting quarterback has reached a level of maturity that nobody expected at the beginning of this year. Let's stick to the concrete facts and advanced statistics to give the Dallas Cowboys fans the necessary credibility they deserve. Journalist Nick Harris, from the prestigious Fort Worth Star-Telegram, revealed in his behind-the-scenes columns that Ryan Flournoy received a massive and disproportionate number of snaps lined up directly in the slot during the first press session in OTAs. If we look at the recent history mapped by Pro Football Focus, Flournoy spent about 35% of his offensive playing time in that central area of the field last year. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Dallas offense is definitively migrating to a modern, dynamic group of receivers, completely free from rigid positions. The prehistoric nonsense of saying that a certain player is only receiver X, or that another only knows how to play as Z on the sideline, is over. Our biggest star, CeeDee Lamb, floats and destroys defenses all over the field, George Pickens draws double teams deep, and Flournoy arrives with that precise surgical flexibility to exploit unfavorable matchups against opposing linebackers. Given all this tactical evolution in the passing game, answer me one thing honestly, what grade from A to F would you give the current Dallas Cowboys receiving core this season? Detailed verdict in the comments so we can discuss it. Meanwhile, in the trenches of the tight end positions, Bleacher Report dropped a real journalistic bombshell that completely divided fan opinion on social media. They included rookie tight end Michael Trigg, who signed with the team as an undrafted free agent from Baylor University, on an exclusive list of 4 rookie UDFAs with real and clear chances of finishing the year as starters for the team in the 2026 season. Hold on, undisputed starter? Let's be realistic here. Jake Ferguson is the undisputed owner of the number 1 position, one of the best tight ends in the entire league and the safe haven of our offense. That's an undeniable fact. But the main tactical justification for their analysis is that the modern NFL scheme is using so many heavy formations with 3 simultaneous tight ends on the line, the famous 13 guys, that the player who assumes the TE3 role ends up gaining the status and minutes of a starter in practice within the weekly game plan. However, there's a real chasm of reality between the beautiful theory on paper and the practice of real American football played in the Sunday brawl. Michael Trigg's natural and physical talent is completely undeniable, worthy of being a third-round draft pick if it weren't for the serious maturity issues and off-field incidents he accumulated during his time at USC and Baylor in college. But the great truth that nobody wants to admit publicly is that every tackle of this fantastic journey completely together, like a true family united by the love of the sport. Let's go all out against them, Dallas Cowboys.